What if I told you that a massive global project, once hailed as a game-changer, is witnessing a significant decline? Yes, we're talking about China's Belt and Road Initiative. In the grand scheme of global economics, few projects have been as ambitious as China's Belt and Road Initiative. Designed to rekindle the ancient Silk Road, the BRI was a sweeping plan to connect Asia, Europe and Africa through a network of railways, roads, pipelines and utility grids. It was a project of extraordinary scale. This initiative, launched in 2013, was not just about infrastructure. It was a strategic endeavour aimed at boosting China's global influence by interweaving the economies of over 70 countries, representing more than 60% of the world's population. The Philippines, an archipelago nation strategically located in Southeast Asia, was one of the countries that initially embraced the initiative. For the Philippines, the BRI promised a golden opportunity to ramp up its infrastructure development. Projects under the BRI were expected to boost the country's economy, create jobs, and help alleviate poverty. It seemed like a win-win situation, with the Philippines standing to gain much-needed infrastructure and China further solidifying its sphere of influence in the region. However, as we will see, this optimistic outlook did not last. The Philippines, once an enthusiastic participant in the BRI, began to distance itself from the initiative. But then, things started to change, and the Philippines began to drift away from the BRI. But how and why did this happen? The first signs of trouble appeared with the rising financial challenges faced by recipient nations and the legislative hurdles that began to obstruct the BRI projects. The Belt and Road Initiative, initially hailed as a beacon of economic cooperation, soon faced its first set of challenges. The Philippines, like other recipient nations, started encountering financial difficulties. The grand infrastructure projects, once symbols of China's influence, became burdens too heavy to bear. The financial strain became evident, and the once promised prosperity seemed to be slipping away. Throw into the mix the legislative hurdles. The BRI projects in the Philippines started facing mounting legal and regulatory obstacles. Questions over transparency, contract terms and labour practices began to surface. These hurdles, far from insignificant, started to obstruct the smooth execution of the BRI projects, creating further cracks in the initiative's facade. Meanwhile, China's commitment to the BRI began to wane. With economic slowdown at home and increasing global scrutiny, China's financial commitments to the BRI started to decline. The once abundant flow of Chinese money became a trickle, leading to project delays and cancellations. The diminished commitment from China only exacerbated the financial challenges faced by the Philippines. The cracks in the Belt and Road Initiative were becoming glaringly obvious. The promise of economic prosperity was overshadowed by financial strains, legislative hurdles, and a waning commitment from China itself. The once shining beacon was losing its luster. The repercussions of these challenges were felt not just in the economic realm, but also in the geopolitical landscape. The Philippines, once a staunch ally of China, began to grow wary. The perceived benefits of the BRI project started to lose their appeal, and the Philippines started to question its heavy economic reliance on China. As the cracks began to show, the Philippines started looking for alternative partnerships. This marked a turning point in the Philippines' relationship with China and set the stage for a significant shift in the geopolitical landscape. As the BRI projects faltered, the Philippines began to actively seek alternative partnerships with traditional allies. This marked a significant shift in the nation's geopolitical strategy, a shift that was spurred by the increasing realization that reliance on a single power was a precarious proposition. The Philippines, with its rich history of international relations, turned to its time-tested allies. Japan, a neighbour and a key player in the region, was among the first. The two nations have a long history of cooperation, and Japan has consistently been a major contributor to the Philippines' development initiatives. South Korea, another important partner, was also on the list. The Philippines and South Korea have shared a vibrant economic relationship, and this was seen as an opportunity to strengthen those ties further. But it wasn't just regional allies the Philippines was reaching out to. The United States, a traditional ally, was back on the table. The relationship between the two countries, though complicated, has been historically strong. With shared democratic values and a mutual interest in maintaining the balance of power in the region, the Philippines saw the United States as a crucial ally in these changing times. And lastly, the European Union, a collective powerhouse with a strong commitment to human rights and democracy, became an attractive alternative for the Philippines. The EU, with its diverse economies and shared interest in a rules-based international order, was seen as a partner that could help the Philippines navigate the choppy waters of geopolitics. The search for alternatives wasn't merely a knee-jerk reaction to the failing BRI projects. It was a calculated move, a strategic diversification of the nation's support base. The Philippines was playing its cards right, ensuring that it had more than one ace up its sleeve. But while the Philippines was diversifying its alliances, China's assertiveness in the South China Sea was escalating. This was a move that would have far-reaching implications, not just for the Philippines, but for the entire region. And it was a move that would set the stage for the next chapter in this riveting tale of geopolitics. China's assertiveness in the South China Sea led to territorial disputes and tensions with neighboring countries, including the Philippines. The South China Sea, a body of water rich in resources and strategic importance, has been a hotbed of contention for decades. China, in its quest to extend its influence, has claimed large swathes of these waters, triggering objections from several Southeast Asian nations. The Philippines, a country with its own set of claims, has found itself at the forefront of these disputes. China's aggressive territorial claims have been marked by the construction of artificial islands and military installations, much to the consternation of its neighbours. This assertiveness has led to heightened tensions and has strained its relations with the Philippines. The Philippines, historically, has been a vocal critic of China's actions in the region. It has even taken its dispute to the international stage, winning a landmark ruling against China at the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague in 2016. However, China has dismissed this ruling, further exacerbating the tensions. The South China Sea disputes have also impacted regional stability, with instances of naval standoffs and near misses becoming increasingly common. These incidents have not only strained diplomatic relations, but have also threatened to disrupt the security and economic continuity of the region. Moreover, China's assertiveness in the South China Sea has also driven a wedge between it and the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN. The Philippines, as a key ASEAN member, has found itself at odds with China's ambitions, leading to a re-evaluation of its geopolitical alignments. These rising tensions marked a significant shift in the Philippines' geopolitical landscape. The disputes in the South China Sea have moved the Philippines away from China's sphere of influence, driving it to seek partnerships elsewhere, thereby reshaping the geopolitical dynamics of the region. This shift is a clear indication of China's diminishing influence over the Philippines, a trend that seems set to continue in the foreseeable future. In response to China's assertiveness, the Philippines pivoted towards the United States, strengthening their cooperation in military exercises, economic ties, and defense agreements. This pivot wasn't a knee-jerk reaction, but a calculated move by the Philippines to ensure its economic and territorial sovereignty. It was a decision that emphasized the significance of long-standing alliances and the importance of diversifying partnerships. While China offered infrastructure and investment, the United States brought to the table a history of mutual defense treaties, shared democratic values, and a robust economic partnership. The Philippines, recognizing the value of this relationship, began to strengthen its ties with the United States. The two nations ramped up their military exercises, showcasing their commitment to regional security and stability. The economic ties were reinforced as well, with the United States remaining one of the top trading partners of the Philippines. Defense agreements, which were once seen as relics of a bygone era, were dusted off and given a new lease on life. This pivot wasn't just a strategic move by the Philippines, it was also a clear message to China. The message was simple. The Philippines would not be swayed by financial allure alone. It valued its sovereignty, its territorial integrity, and its democratic values. As the Philippines and the United States strengthened their ties, China's influence in the region began to wane. The more assertive China became, the more the Philippines leaned on its old ally. The Belt and Road Initiative projects, once seen as a symbol of China's growing influence, were now being abandoned. The pivot to the United States was not without its challenges, but it was a necessary step for the Philippines. It was a step towards securing its future, protecting its interests, and preserving its sovereignty. And thus we see how China lost its influence over the Philippines, a combination of its own assertive actions and the Philippines' decision to exit Chinese flagship projects. In conclusion, China's loss of influence over the Philippines is a significant shift in the geopolitical landscape. We've witnessed how the termination of major BRI projects and the Philippines' pursuit of diversified partnerships have played a part. The escalating tensions in the South China Sea and the Philippines' pivot to the United States have underscored this change. The decline of the BRI and China's dwindling influence are becoming more apparent. As the world watches, the question remains, will other countries follow the Philippines' lead?